Good morning. Good to see you all. Welcome to this morning's service. Please, reminder, there's no drinks or food in the hondo, and please turn off your cell phones or put them on silent. Thank you. I think everybody is come here before. We'll begin this morning's service with Sambujo on page 24 in the large service book, followed by Sutra chanting Jusei Ge on page 23 in the small Dharma school service book, and page 93 in the large service book. Please rise for the singing of the Agatha Namo Amidabutsu on page 67 in the Small Dharma School Service Book. Please remain standing for the Three Treasures, which is on page 3 in the Small Dharma School Service Book.
When life is fair and sunlight gilds the day, when fortune smiles and flowers adorn our way, oft let us pause with grateful hearts to say, Namu Amida Butsu. In our way leads 'neath the darkened sky, and to our loved ones pain and death draw nigh. Our tears may flow, yet trustingly we cry, Namu Amida Butsu. If you please join now in the reading of the Three Treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, namanda. Thank you. Please be seated.
And now he's up there already. We'll have a Dharma talk by Rinban Sakamoto.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you here in Ohondo, and those of you who are joining us either later or online, thank you for joining us for this morning's service. I have a tendency to like things that are old, and the reason, not so much that they're old, but that there is history in something that has been around for a long time. I enjoy thinking about this. And this might be anything from a book to things that happened historically. So I used to like, well, I still do, I enjoy barbecue. And the reason I enjoy barbecue, a part of it, I enjoy, of course, the eating barbecue, but it has a history. It goes way back. And it's that history that's really interesting and that I enjoy as well. Like this okyohon that I've been using, I don't know how old this is, but it's really falling apart. And I think sometimes people will look at it and say, well, you should get a new one. Pages are coming out of this. And so when I do services, sometimes I have to stand here and I have to read this, and I'm thinking, oh, this page is going to fall out any moment, and I better hang on to it. But it's been through a lot of services, and I kind of like that. And I guess I could get a new one. Actually, this edition, there's no more of this. They were printed for the ministers, Buddhist Church of America ministers, and they were no more printed. This is since that time. This is the second one of these that I've had. And this I've used the longest. But I managed to find one more, and Mikami Sensei has the other one, the matching of these. So there are a few of these that are kind of circulating in the BCA. Some of them probably in better shape than this one is, but I kind of like things that are old because of the history. So if you see me kind of walking around looking boro-boro, that it's not because I should at least look respectful, but it's that kind of feeling of, and I guess in Japanese it's sabi and wabi, that those two ideas of appreciating something that's been around for a long time. There's also the kind of feeling of mottainai, that we don't use something and then when we're done with it, kind of just throw it away. The idea of mottainai is in there as well. But I just kind of enjoy these things that have been around for a while, and they've gathered history. We saw that movie a while ago, Kin Nantoka, Kin Tsuru Nantoka, about the repairing of broken wares. What was it? That in repairing like these dishes that have broken, rather than simply throwing them away, using this gold actually to repair these broken dishes, and then to keep using these dishes. That's a kind of another way also. And in fact, when it's repaired, so usually things that have been in a family for a long time, like chawang, ocha, not ocha kind of ocha, but ocha. So the practice of tea ceremony. Okay, that's it, tea ceremony. When one of those chawang would break, would be repaired in that way. And it kind of appreciates and that the stories or the use of that vessel, and gives it life that can be continue to be enjoyed. So yeah, those kinds of things I enjoy. And I started playing shakuhachi a long time ago. I didn't play very regularly. The first shakuhachi I received, I purchased when I was in college, was stolen when I moved to Oakland. And I told this story of woe at one of the Dharma messages. This was maybe 15 years ago. And John Hall heard this story, and so he ordered a shakuhachi from this maker, Monty Levinson, who lives in Willits in Mendocino. And we got a chance to meet Sensei a couple of summers ago when we were invited to go to Arcata to participate in their first Obon service and Obon Odori. And when I said yes to go to that, it was because we would pass through Willits, and passing through Willits, I would have a chance to meet Sensei. So we agreed and we contacted Levinson Sensei, and we got a chance to meet him at that time. And so in that too, that story is really interesting. About in the 1970s, he received a National Foundation Science Award, and he had traveled to Levitz, and the grant was to study solar energy. And so he was there in Willits to do that. But then while there, he kind of was rethinking what he was doing with his life. And he decided that he would return that grant. And instead, there's about 40 acres, a homestead land, up in the hills above Willits, and began making shakuhachi. And at that time, he had no skill, no idea of what that meant to play or to build shakuhachi. But because at that time, Whole Earth Catalog was popular, he was selling this shakuhachi through a Whole Earth. And he became recognized and acknowledged. Later on, when he went to Japan, finally got to go to Japan, his shakuhachi was recognized as instruments that were of really good quality. And the sensei was very impressed with his ability to make shakuhachi. And so this leads into today's Dharma talk, which is share and tell. So, shaku is the unit length. One shaku, ishaku, about like that, I guess. And then shun is like inches. So shaku is like a foot. Not that it measures a foot, but it's kind of like a foot. And then the shun is the inches. And I don't know how many shun makes up a shaku, but maybe it's 10. But this is, so shakuhachi is one of several lengths of this instrument. So although we kind of generically refer to them as shakuhachi, so this is a shakuhachi. It's one shaku is shun. And this is the one that John Hall many years ago ordered. It's made from, I think it's called tora. But the take, the bamboo that it's made of, is brought from Japan. And then he makes the shakuhachi. He has a home also in Shikoku, on Shikoku, where he also has a shop that makes shakuhachi. And the shakuhachi has 5 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the back. And the utaguchi, this mouthpiece, is where it's an end-blown flute, kind of like a whistle. So that's the sound of the shakuhachi. And this is a kind of a medium student shakuhachi. And again, this one received from John Hall a few years ago. This one, somebody brought a shakuhachi to the temple and said, "Oh, is there anybody that's interested in shakuhachi?" And so the immediate thought was, "Oh, yeah, we know somebody." and so when it was brought to the temple, it was just in a box, and it was pretty beat up, still playable. But I sent this to Levinson Sensei and asked him if it would be possible to repair. So this shakuhachi is older than this one. And they're kind of grades. And this one has the maker's Han, Hanko, on the back. But it also has Levinson Sensei's Hanko here, his imprint here, because he repaired the shakuhachi and tuned it so that it would be easier to play. In the hands of a person, a skilled person, this would sound a lot better. But we have a shakuhachi club here. Did you know that there's a, and oh yeah, we have several people here who are actually members of the club. And we had others who were members of the club who have stopped coming. I don't know why. And this is also shakuhachi. But this is your local Home Depot brand. $2. And I've been playing with this one, and the reason well, people are asking, why do you play this? You have these other instruments that have been tuned, so that actually they could be. So shakuhachi came to Japan about 1,300 years ago, and it was brought over and included as a part of the Nagaku ensemble, so that, court music, where you see here some of the instruments, like there's a sho, yeah, so that the Dhamma next to this gaku that's hanging, you see the instrument that, yeah, that one. Yeah, that's a sho, so that's a part of, you'd find that as a part of the Gagaku group. There's a couple of Gagaku groups. There's one in Senshin, I think San Francisco, but it's a real specialized kind of ensemble. But the shakuhachi, when it came from China through Korea and eventually into Japan, it was a part of the Gagaku ensemble. But slowly that was, the Gagaku kind of fell out of use. And one kind of thought was that because the shakuhachi was very similar to the sho, this instrument, and the ryuteki, I think is the other one, that it was just, it was repetitive in terms of the sound that the shakuhachi brought to the Nagaku. And so it kind of fell out of use, and it kind of really disappeared for a while. For a couple hundred years, nobody knew about or played shakuhachi, except for maybe very isolated places in temples. And then in the Tokugawa period, the shakuhachi started to be practiced by a Buddhist group, the Fuke school of Buddhism. The monks in that tradition started using the shakuhachi as a way of for meditation. But the Fuke, the Komuso, the stories of Komuso as spies. And so, they would wear that basket on their head and they would be blowing, and while they were blowing, they were looking around and finding out about things that were happening in areas. So they were kind of spies for the government, and they were, not everybody was able to play the shakuhachi. And I mean, this is real brief, and but not much detail, but at the end of the Tokugawa period, as Meiji Jidai was starting to be established, the Fuke clan school was disbanded. But the shakuhachi, playing a shakuhachi began to become more popularized, and the length of the shakuhachi became standard. Up until then, it kind of varied. You had to make your own instrument, and so the instruments were not all similar or tuned alike. But in the Meiji period, they began to make these shakuhachi standard. And there's two major schools, the Tozan and the Kinko schools of shakuhachi. And the primary difference between is the way that the mouthpiece, the utaguchi, is made. One is angular and the other is circular. But these are the two schools of major schools of shakuhachi. And then today, when I went, well, not today, today meaning in the past 30 years maybe, I guess it's since the war, shakuhachi again and classical Japanese instruments were kind of falling out of favor, and Western instruments were being introduced. So things like, well, I don't think ukulele, maybe ukulele. There's the Hula Girls. Do you remember? There was a movie, I think it's called Hula Girls. The town was losing people, and in order to bring them back, they thought that what they would do is create something interesting. And so they started practicing ukulele and hula, and this started bringing people back into the town. But Western instruments like flute and piano, violin, these kinds of instruments became more kind of popular after the war. And so again, these classic instruments were kind of being lost, forgotten. But recently, people have begun to return to these instruments as a way of bringing back the history of classical instruments, and through the use of classical instruments, bringing back the history and appreciation for what has taken place in Japan. These instruments are just, they're things, but through them we can communicate and we can share our appreciation of not just music, but of story, of sound, of experience. So this is so you too can play like this. Yes, Phyllis? So, this, again, things that are old, I enjoy, because of the history that is associated with these things. And it's something that kind of touches a different part of our lives, not the intellectual or the analytical side, but our life side, where things are appreciated simply because of what they are, not because of how we analyze them, not because of how we built them, but simply because they are something to be appreciated. In Buddhism, and I have to kind of connect this to Buddhism, but in Buddhism, we simply see things as they are, not through what I like or what I don't like, but begin to acknowledge and recognize that we do have these kinds of preferences, but that when we begin to see things simply as they are, even if they're old, but begin to see maybe in that there is something that can be discovered, something that can be appreciated. As we grow old too, there is something that we learn and we are able to contribute, perhaps differently, but still be able to contribute to our experience as a community, as a part of the humanity that we all are a part of. So that's it. Thank you very much for putting up with my. We're gonna recruit Mas. Have Mas come join our shakuhachi, so he'll be able to accompany us. Where is Mas? Is he back there? Did he run away? But thank you again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Rinban, for sharing your talents and your stories about shakuhachi. Very interesting. Please rise now for Gatha Ondakusan 2, on page 76 in the small Dharma School service book.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. Please be seated.
Are there any announcements? Yes, we have announcements.
Good morning. I thought I'd just make announcements of what's upcoming with the temple in the next month or so. Tomorrow and Tuesday evening are our last two Obon Odori practices, 7:30 to 8:45. If you haven't been to any of them, the new song is called the Lantern Song. It's the song that the BCA has asked all the temples to do in celebration of the 125th anniversary of the BCA. It's a really beautiful song. I actually really like the song, and the dance is simple and nice. So anyway, if you can come out, and of course, Obon is 2 weeks from today, in 2 weekends, 13th and 14th. Again, thank you to all of you for helping out in the many, many different ways that you do. And if you haven't, we still have sign-ups on the Obon page of our website, as well as through our Facebook page and other places. The weekend after is the Saturday. It must be the 20th at 5 p.m. We have our annual Hatsubon service, where we have a service for those who have passed away in the past year. And then on the 21st at 10 o'clock, this service will be the Obon service for the year, where we honor our ancestors. And let's see, Sunday, July 28th, we're going to have our third fundraiser for the Lahaina Relief. So this is Gwen Osso's project again. So it will be the same as the last two, where we have a takeout lunch for $20. The menu this time is huli huli chicken, Kahlua pork and cabbage, a green salad, rice, sweet roll, I forgot something. Oh, and fruit. So again, I would personally buy it because you don't have to cook dinner that night. So you can just buy it and take it home and have dinner. Or if you're like me, who doesn't eat very much, it's lunch and dinner. So anyway, so that again is July 28th. And then the following weekend, Saturday, August 3rd, is the annual ABBA rummage sale. So drop-off is the Thursday and Friday before, must be the 1st and 2nd, if I can do the math. And the 3rd, again, is the rummage sale. I'm sure if any of you are willing to help, they would appreciate that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Larry. This will conclude today's service. We'll close with Gasho.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Vedas.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Vedas.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Vedas.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you for coming. Please join us for refreshments outside in the garden to my left. Please come forward for incense offering.
Grandkids tomorrow to practice. The two youngest ones. No, you're gonna say, who let those kids loose? Peace out for that, dude.
Good morning.
Oh, can I ask you a question? Do you have any friends in the Buddhist temple in Kurume? Yes. Okay, so this is her family's.
So they live in Korea.
Yes, so depends on the piece.
And we're gonna take some ashes from her mom, whose family's there.